Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome to my page. My page is about common sense, but I try to keep it down under the nitty gritty, under 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, that means it's something very, very, very important. My videos are not important to the general masses of asses. People just like to smoke, people like to drink, people like ayahuasca, people like DMT. People who are religious, okay? People who believe in validation from other people. People who are not independent within their own inner gods. They believe in external gods rather than themselves as gods. Okay, you should not watch my videos. My videos are crazy. I look kind of crazy. Okay, that throws a lot of people off. Okay, I jumble my words. I'm imperfect, and you should get the hell out of here. All right, so let's get on with another topic for today. I'm still in, and this is the place I'm at right now. I've just been taking a break because I've altered my life history and present and the future by making wise decisions because of experience. Okay, when you go through experiences, you're supposed to fix those things. And other than that, I'm in Sierra Leone right now, and you can see out here, everybody, it's fucking hot. Yeah. In Sierra Leone, the temperature is usually 10 to 15 degrees due to the humidity. Because I'm here, and I can see the temperature in Fahrenheit, which is easier to understand than Celsius. All right, which is another subject. Okay. I want to make this very clear. If you have any comments or questions or insults or even roasters, you put it down below. All right. I do some research, but I'm not perfect. And if you have any comments and you want to roast me because you're a beta male or a beta woman or whatever, be my guest. But I know you won't try it, okay? Because you might want to diet, okay? Because most Americans are fat indeed. 60% of Americans, I think it's more than that, 70% are out of shape. But that's not what this video is about. So since I got most of you people off, this video is going to be about advanced languages. Okay? Advanced languages. I was asking my wife, like, do you have the word computer in your language? And as I said before, I try to tell people all the time that I'm using common sense, dog. If their language, Japanese, Chinese, which they say is much more superior, okay? And I talk to some Chinese, and they'll tell me how advanced they are. And I say, hey, I think you know, retract that. Diversity is more powerful than what you believe in your country. Though I believe that there's pros and cons in both countries. When it comes to language, however, you have to understand where the upper hand is at. All right? And my point is that if you ask any language person who thinks their language is more superior than another, simply ask them, do they have the word computer in their language? Simply ask them if they have the word bed or technology. Okay, because that's English. English is derived from Anglo-Saxons Latin, correct? Because I did some research on that. But I don't care too much about the history of every little tiny little aspect of it. But I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a barbaric language, right? And that's what I was told. Okay, so if it's a barbaric language, it should be simple. It's mostly, if you look at, even if you look at different languages, you'll notice that the more simple a language is, the more straighter the lines are, right? And when I compare apples to oranges, like when I look at Arabic and I look at Islamic, you notice that there's more, in Chinese or Japanese, you notice that there's curvature, a lot of curvature. It's like an art calligraphy. And to me, that's a form of emotion, expression of the earth, okay? We have to come from that. We have to make sure everything's in a straight line, because that's why you're here. The Emerald Tablets tell you, I'm going off a tangent here. The Emerald Tablets tell you, if you work in straight lines, you're being simple. You have to go in curvatures. If you want to escape this world, you have to go in emotions. You got to be unpredictable, okay? Because that's chaos, right? And so we are all energy. So when you ask someone, do you have the word computer? Just ask them, okay? Or bedroom, okay? Or in your language. And if they say no, then you already know right there that language is a very old language. It's that simple. Just do that, okay? Please. I've asked my wife in Ethiopia. I asked my wife in Sierra Leone. I asked my wife in Nigeria. Okay, I travel and I say, hey, do you have that word? Even in Japan, they don't even have that word. Or they'll make up a word because they don't want their language to be so-called found out. Okay? You gotta be careful with some countries in which, okay, you have to ask them where that word comes from. Where does that word computer comes from? Okay? Is there older word than before computer came out? All right? You got to watch that because there are some languages, some people, they'll say, oh, we have the word computer in our language. That's because they adapted and they made sure that since they didn't have that word computer, okay, they implemented in their language. You got to be careful with those individuals. If you look at the whole of Africa and you keep asking, do you have that word in your language? You'll know how old their language is and their own culture is. Easily. They don't know anything about technology. That word is not in their vocabulary. They have to literally say technology. Do you understand that? Or they'll say a whole bunch of words in their own language, and then they'll say technology. Okay. And they'll say it real fast, like they're so sophisticated, and they're not. Okay. So the moral what I'm saying here is not to belittle any race or any culture. It's just to prove my point to where I've said that depending on the language you speak, how you been? Okay. You will understand how fluid and much more coherent English is compared to the rest of the world's languages. Okay, we have people who are speaking languages and they don't understand the context of English, so they have to study English in order to fit in with the rest of the world. English is a universal, universal in America, in the world language to traverse. If you don't know English, you can't get on the plane. You can't even understand TikTok or YouTube. That's English. Everything is English, 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 English. Okay, you speak English. Start to evolve your languages. And if you start to do this, you'll have more psychological bearing because English is more diverse than any other country. All right, English, not the Englishman, but the English language. Capiche? Okay, the English language must be spoken so everyone can understand. Like when I see Mexican people or Spanish people in America, and I'm wondering how the hell they get here. You know, the majority of the country is in English. Possibly they're illegals, and that should be a clue. Okay, how do you study your own language? And you know, predominantly most people in America speak English. It is the most evolved language in the world. Okay, so this is what I know. But if you can tell me something to prove otherwise, then tell me, because I don't know. The only thing I do know is that I use common sense when I speak, and I'm like, okay, common sense would say, okay, if they can't speak the word computer in their own language, then their language is pretty much old. Okay, they don't have technology. There's a lot of words. Psychology, infrastructure. Okay, do you know? Okay. Delusion, the word delusion itself, okay, there's lots of words in English that they don't have in their language because they're far behind, okay, all right? Other than that, that's all I really gotta say for right now. I proved my point here. Just start asking, okay, do you have these words, these set of highly advanced words in your language, okay? Even the most common word, bedroom, the word bedroom is not in Africans' language. They don't have that word. Living room, those words, computer, technology. I said this time and time again. Other than that, that's all I really got to say for right now. Because I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. Even the things here, you know, that is English, okay? That bulldozer, if you look on the bulldozer, it's English, okay? You go to Japan, okay? It's going to be written in English mostly because they got it from the Americans, Americanas, whatever, okay? Other than that, even motorcycles, they call it different names in their own language. They make up their own words, but you understand my point here, okay? You know, no. Yeah, this is advanced technology being spread upon the world, all right? No disrespect. And other than that, that's all I really gotta say for right now. Y'all have a nice day, okay? And please use common sense in everyday life and everything you do, okay? And say, hey, you know that 1 + 1 does not always equal 2. We know that, okay? The white mathematicians, okay, mathematicians like to create formulas, right? A + B = C and shit like that. E is MC = square, whatever. We know that all sorts of languages can be traversed and used as a form of language or logic, so we can make sense of things, okay? But when it comes down to language, it's the same thing. You got to understand to ask the right questions. Ask the right questions, people. Just ask the right questions, and then just close the case. Just ask the right questions. The courts don't ask the right questions. You have to pay for services rendered, even though the United States government is being extorted through the justice system, okay? The system is, that's another subject for another day, but I wanted to talk about how the system in America can be fixed. Okay? I believe strongly that hearsay cases should all be thrown out. All unanonymous calls and all that stuff. I don't like that type of shit. It gets a lot of men, mostly predominantly men, in trouble, okay, because of anonymous sexual allegations. I hate all that stuff. I'm like, anonymous? Who the fuck is labeling themselves as? What so much protection do you need if you need to report it when all you got to do is run away? And then this call the police if someone's chasing you. I don't understand it, okay? But that's another video for another day, guys. Okay? There's a lot of things wrong with America. There's a lot of things wrong with everywhere. But one thing for certain is that most of you people who's watching me, you may not want to live in Africa. For many reasons. I made many videos, okay? But there's a lot of problems in Africa in general, okay? No matter where you go, okay? And I've been there and done that, okay? And then I'm like, oh, I told you. And then you try to come out here, you don't believe me, okay? You can live in a nice area, the power goes out, and then we worrying about English. Okay, God damn it, okay? Not to belittle any country, it's just they're far behind on the times. And all these in this country is sent from the West, okay? All this technology is coming from the West. It has not arrived in Africa, okay? This stuff is brought like abroad that you deal with, okay? Other than that, y'all have a nice day, because I'm not Joe Average Man. I'm not Joe Peter. And peace.